What's up, everybody? Today's gonna be a classic. Just gonna show you how it came in package. Really big box. So first I thought, what could that be? Because I always purchase multiple things on the internet and kind of lose track. So you get a message from the Buck family. As always, the famous forever warranty. Let's get that out of the way. And it comes just like this. Leather sheath. And the knife itself. The Buck 110 Folding Hunter. This is a fantastic knife. If you don't own one, you definitely need to. I'm right in the middle of my addiction right now, my addiction being knives, and I haven't owned that for, how long do I collect knives? I think 5 years now, 4 or 5 years. Just got that for about, what did I pay? I think 48 bucks. 15 bucks was shipping to Europe, so still a decent price. And I really like my tactical knives and my lightweight knives and everything, but this is just a milestone in knife history, and you definitely need to own one or at least handle one. You know, it's a heavy knife. You probably know it's a large knife. The sheath is very thick leather. I don't know if I can measure it, but it's around 2.5 mil thick. Has a very good snap button. And I kinda fake broke it in. I carried this knife the past 2 or 3 weeks on and off. Mostly I really carried that. I really did. And after a couple of days, of course, the weight bothers you a little bit. Carried it in this sheath and in pocket. I like it in the sheath better, just for weight distribution and everything. And what I mean by I fake broke it in, I carried it, as I just told you, and of course the leather will get softer and everything. But first thing I did was get it soaking wet, dunked it in a bowl of water, warm water. I don't know if that's necessary, but I did. And I just, I massaged it and let it dry on the air. So leather gets softer now, and it feels better. It's more form-fitting. And this is not gonna be a really in-depth review. I'm just gonna tell you my experiences with this knife. It's 2013. This knife I think came out in 62. Not super sure about that. You can Google it, of course. But this is how I carry it. Of course, tip up, right side. I carried it on my 3 o'clock, and it worked definitely well. So the snap button is really nice, very secure, and the belt loop is pretty wide. You can really wear very wide belts with it. Doesn't dangle around too much, at least that wasn't my experience. So the knife itself, the brass bolsters are definitely massive, and I think that's the weight, where the weight comes from. So what I did was, I think the first week I almost every day sprayed some WD-40 on it. Really massaged it in because I wanted to keep it pretty. But you can't really prevent dulling the brass. You can't really prevent that if you carry it. And it's just such an awesome knife. I have large hands, and this is a complete handful of knife. It feels super nice in hand, even though I think the balance point is Yeah, balance point is right around here. So it has 3 brass pins on each side and 1 nickel pin, I assume. This one is nickel. And I almost got this Buck 110 as a custom from directly from the Buck homepage, but it would have been at least twice as expensive, I mean. And this is just the classic one. I didn't want to get the 112 Ranger. I didn't want to get the Ecolite. I wanted to get the real thing. The real thing. Generations and generations of knife users have put this knife through its paces. And this is just fantastic. I didn't engrave it or anything. It came from the seller. Who was it? Johnny Shades on eBay. Has a 99.0% positive feedback, so not super high. And it came with some rust spots. I think you can see that right there and right there, because the knife and up here a little bit, this dull thing there, because it wasn't oiled, and it took about 3 or 4 weeks or even longer to ship to me, to my destination. And so bit of rust on there, nothing major. The diamond wood is very nice. It's smooth, but has a certain grain to it still. So just a fantastic knife. I'm just going to show you real quick my favorite carry knives of as of today. It's this one, the large clip point Cold Steel Voyager. Very nice knife. And if you carried that one for 3 weeks straight pretty much, this one feels like heaven. This one is really heaven in your pocket. You have so much blade in such a decent weight distribution. It's fantastic. So these are the knives together. Blade length. Cold Steel Voyager has a little bit longer blade, cutting edge. Both feel excellent in hand. Of course, this is a tactical folder, definitely. So everybody has a Spyderco Tenacious, right? And this is a really interesting comparison, because the blade length is exactly the same size, but you have more handle on the Buck 110 and definitely more weight. So okay, let's show them next to each other in folded position. You can see right there. Of course, Tenacious is wider. Another of my favorites, the Tenacious is not one of my favorites, by the way, is the Enlan EL02. This one happens to be the micarta version. I have the G10 version here also. Those are by far some of my favorite EDC folding knives of all time. So those are all in the same size category, so I like my slightly larger knives. And you can see the size there next to each other, about the same size, pretty much exactly the same size of cutting edge. Of course, no, the handles are the exact same length as well, but much lighter. Even milled liners on this model, on this one not. So awesome. Okay, next is another favorite, the Byrd Caracara 2. So you can definitely see a pattern here. I like the larger knives. Cutting edge is shorter, just by a tiny bit. And of course, this is really lightweight. I really like this knife but after 3 weeks, this feels so great. So unobtrusive. You don't feel at all in pocket. You have a great pocket clip. With this one, you have a lot of weight and a big chunky sheath, so that's something to consider. So some other classics. I hope my battery doesn't run out. This is a Navy K 611. This is a nice lock bag. Modern day lock bag, of course, but it's pretty much the same as the Kershaw Gentleman. Full-sized folding knife, back lock, as well as the 110. Much lighter, of course, but just some classic knives to consider in your EDC rotation, which I certainly like. Much thinner also. So I didn't really talk about the thickness. Thickness is not super bad. Of course, this is quite a thin knife, but what I have here is an Opinel. This is a number 8 in walnut. Another classic knife. Shouldn't miss, and you definitely should have an Opinel in your collection if you're serious about folding knives and knives in general. So cutting edge is just a tad shorter on the Opinel, of course a lot cheaper, a lot lighter because this is a strictly wood handle, and it's just so light. And the thickness, yes, I wanted to talk about the thickness. The Opinel is thicker. Okay, so it's about 3 mil thicker on the thickest point, or even 4 mil maybe. And this one doesn't carry super well. Of course it does, it's very light, but it's also thick. And this one you can carry in a sheath on your belt, so you don't have you have much more space in your pockets. That's what I'm getting at. This is another very classy, very thin, very lightweight lock bag. This is a CRKT Centofonte Tribute 2. This is the smaller one. I wish I could get the bigger one, but I can't seem to find it. So there's a big difference. Both classic designs, beautiful workmanship, very lightweight. Just gonna weight here real quick. Have a scale here. 1.4 ounces for this one, and you probably already know the weight on this one. 7.4. Wow, I thought it was 7.2. That's surprising. 7.4 ounces. This is a huge difference. And lastly, I know this one doesn't really fit in this range of knives, but this is another very nice slip joint. Oh, this is a locking blade, of course, but just to give you a size comparison, this is also a full hand grip. Well, it's a very light duty gentleman slip joint knife. I think this one is a Kiss and Crane or Robert Klaas, Solingen, Germany. This one is a very old heirloom, and this is of course very new, and you can see right there. Oh, you can't see it because my camera won't focus. It was produced in 2013, so this is a fresh knife, fresh out the oven. Yeah, that's it. Just my experience. Compared it to some other blades, as you just saw. Very nice knife. I will continue carrying this, of course not every day, but when I feel like it, I really love it. It's of course razor sharp. I've used this for 3 weeks now and haven't touched it up. And this is nasty paper. This one is very nasty, not super easy to cut, but you can see it's really sharp. So thanks for watching. Buy this knife if you don't have one already. They make it in 4-finger choils. Also, you can get customs directly from the Buck website. It's just a fantastic, fantastic knife. Definitely something you should have. There is a company, the measure of a knife, since 1902. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Roll Tide.